She was once a shining star, adored by millions, walking the red carpet under the spotlight of fame. But today, she has no home, no money, and no one remembers his name. From the peak of stardom to life on the streets, what led to his devastating downfall? This is a heartbreaking story of loss, mistakes, and the harsh realities of life. Join us as we uncover the truth behind his dramatic fall from grace, from fame to homelessness, a shocking reality. If you think this is a valuable lesson, hit like, share, and comment one below. Michael Jackson was once the undisputed king of pop, a global icon worshipped by millions. But the dazzling fame that had once lifted him high eventually became the weight that pulled him down. He didn't just lose his wealth, he lost something far greater. His image, his honor, and the admiration the world once had for him, all shattered by chilling accusations. In the 1990s, Michael Jackson had solidified his position as a musical legend, but during this time, whispers of scandal began to emerge. In 1993, 15-year-old Jordan Chandler and his family made alarming allegations against him. Though the case was settled with a massive $22 million payout, the damage was done. Michael's image was permanently tarnished. The public began to view him through a lens of suspicion. In 2003, the documentary Living with Michael Jackson aired, in which Michael openly admitted to sharing his bed with children. Although he insisted that there was nothing inappropriate about it, his defense did nothing to ease public concerns. In fact, it only added fuel to the fire. His infamous statement, "It's not sexual, we're just loving each other," instantly became the center of heated controversy. By 2005, the situation reached its peak when he faced legal charges related to misconduct with minors. Though he was acquitted, his reputation was irreparably damaged. The world no longer saw him as the king of pop worthy of celebration. Instead, he was relentlessly ostracized, hounded by the media, and abandoned by the public. Michael's career plummeted. Endorsement deals were canceled. Brand partnerships were severed, and major stages no longer welcomed him. The isolation and unrelenting pressure drove him into a downward spiral of depression and dependency on medication. In 2009, Michael planned a grand comeback with the This Is It tour, hoping to reclaim his former glory. But fate had other plans. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died of a drug overdose, marking the tragic end of a fallen legend. Michael Jackson's story remains one of the most striking examples of a beloved king's dramatic downfall, one who became an outcast. His legacy remains overshadowed by the accusations that haunted him until his last breath. Stephen Baldwin had it all: fame, a thriving career, and lead roles in hit films like The Usual Suspects and Biodome. But it wasn't greed or scandal that led to his downfall. It was his unwavering religious beliefs. In the early 2000s, Baldwin underwent a spiritual transformation that completely altered his life. He became a devout conservative Christian, refusing to participate in films that contained violence, adult content, or anything that clashed with his newfound faith. But Baldwin didn't stop there. He openly denounced Hollywood, condemning the film industry as immoral and urging people to stay away from it. He made divisive statements, calling Hollywood the devil's playground, and even criticizing colleagues who did not share his faith. Unsurprisingly, this made him an outcast in the industry. Directors and producers distanced themselves, and the talented actor he once was faded into the background, replaced by the image of an uncompromising extremist. Baldwin's acting career was virtually erased. Filmmakers avoided him, the media ridiculed him, and audiences abandoned him. No longer able to secure roles, he turned to reality television to stay relevant. He appeared on Celebrity Big Brother, where both viewers and fellow contestants mocked him. His outspoken beliefs quickly became an internet meme, and the press labeled him as a Bible-thumping fanatic. It wasn't just his career that collapsed, his finances crumbled too. After years of failed investments in Christian film projects, Baldwin filed for bankruptcy in 2009, drowning in over $2.3 million in debt. To this day, Stephen Baldwin has never regained his former status. While his brother, Alec Baldwin, continues to thrive in Hollywood, Stephen has been relegated to minor roles and has all but disappeared from the entertainment industry. His story serves as a cautionary tale. Faith can be a guiding light, but when taken to the extreme, it can also cast a long shadow. Stephen Baldwin wasn't destroyed by anyone else. He sabotaged his own future, falling from a rising Hollywood star to a forgotten figure. Armie Hammer had it all: handsome looks, undeniable talent, and a promising future. But in the blink of an eye, everything fell apart. Prestigious roles, admiration, and A-list fame vanished when shocking allegations against him surfaced in 2021. Private messages, allegedly from Armie Hammer, were leaked online, revealing disturbing content like, "I am 100% a cannibal and I want to eat you." The internet erupted like wildfire, leaving Hollywood in shock. Women who had been involved with Hammer soon came forward, accusing him of manipulation and harm. Some described their experiences as emotionally and physically damaging. Before the scandal, Hammer was on his way to becoming one of Hollywood's elite, delivering standout performances in Call Me By Your Name, The Social Network, and The Man from UNCLE. But as the controversy exploded, his career collapsed overnight. Studios quickly dropped him from major projects like Shotgun Wedding, and CAA, one of Hollywood's most powerful agencies, suddenly cut ties with him. No one wanted to be associated with Armie Hammer anymore. From a rising star, he became a social outcast. But losing roles was just the beginning. He lost his dignity, his image, and the public's respect. The internet was ruthless. Headlines branded him Hollywood's biggest scandal, while social media turned him into a daily spectacle. Even his family distanced themselves. Eventually, Hammer left the U.S. to escape the relentless scrutiny. With Hollywood shutting its doors, he had no choice but to walk away. Reports emerged that he was working part-time as a timeshare salesman in the Cayman Islands just to make ends meet. Despite his attempts to stay silent and out of the media's eye, his reputation remained ruined. The allegations against him were too severe to be overlooked. Once an A-list star, Armie Hammer is now a name met with disdain and indifference. Hollywood has closed its doors to him, and they may never reopen. Mike Tyson was once the ultimate symbol of boxing greatness, an unstoppable fighting machine. However, personal mistakes led to his downfall, costing him everything: his fame, respect, and even his freedom. In 1992, Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison after being convicted of misconduct involving Desiree Washington, a teenage beauty pageant contestant. The verdict sent shockwaves through the sports world and among his millions of global fans. A once revered boxing legend, had now become a convicted criminal in the public eye. Despite Tyson's insistence that he was innocent, the conviction left an indelible stain on his legacy. "I have never raped anyone, but I was convicted," he once stated. But this only fueled further controversy. Upon his release, Tyson attempted a comeback, but he was no longer the invincible Iron Mike. A series of losses combined with reckless behavior further tarnished his image. Tyson's career took an even darker turn in 1997 when he bit Evander Holyfield's ear during their fight. The shocking act became one of the most infamous moments in boxing history. The media mocked him, fans condemned him, and the press labeled him the most disgraceful boxer of all time. Outside the ring, Tyson's life was equally chaotic. He squandered his massive fortune, battled substance abuse, lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and ultimately declared bankruptcy in 2003. Tragedy struck even harder in 2009 when his 4-year-old daughter passed away, leaving him completely shattered. However, Tyson found a way to seek redemption. He acknowledged his past mistakes, abandoned self-destructive habits, and rebuilt his public image through movies and television appearances. Though he could never fully reclaim his former glory, Tyson at least managed to rewrite the final chapters of his life with sincerity and effort. He was no longer the terrifying Iron Mike, but a man who had stumbled and was still trying to make amends. Wesley Snipes was known for his cool, commanding presence in action films like Blade, Demolition Man, and Passenger 57. But then everything crumbled. His reputation, his respect, all gone. From an action icon, he became an outcast, shunned by Hollywood due to legal troubles. In 2006, Snipes was charged with tax evasion amounting to $7 million from 1999 to 2001. Not only did he evade taxes, but he also filed false documents, denied his financial obligations, and even claimed he wasn't a legal U.S. citizen. The scandal sent shockwaves through Hollywood. How could a successful, wealthy actor sabotage himself out of greed and recklessness? How could someone earning tens of millions believe they could outsmart the government? In 2008, Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in prison for tax evasion, a verdict that stunned the entertainment industry. From a box office star, he became a federal inmate, identified by a prison number instead of ticket sales. Despite appealing, Snipes served his full sentence from 2010 to 2013. His career was erased, film contracts canceled, and no studio wanted to be associated with a convicted tax felon. The media and public flooded headlines with brutal titles, from Blade to Inmate, Hollywood's dumbest tax cheat, How to Ruin Your Career in 3 Easy Steps. Social media was just as merciless. If Snipes once thought he was immortal like Blade, he learned the hard way. IRS is stronger than vampires. After his release in 2013, Snipes attempted a comeback with The Expendables 3, but Hollywood had moved on. He took on smaller roles, but the industry never embraced him the same way again. The lesson from Snipes' downfall is crystal clear. A lifetime of building a reputation can be destroyed by one bad decision. Once a top action star, he is now a cautionary tale of Hollywood's self-destructive elite. Dionne Warwick, a legendary voice, a powerhouse behind timeless classics like Walk On By and I Say a Little Prayer. But who could have imagined that a woman who once stood at the pinnacle of musical success would lose everything, her fortune, her career, and the public's trust? In 2013, at the age of 72, Warwick shocked the world by declaring bankruptcy, revealing a massive $10 million debt primarily due to unpaid taxes and poor financial management. She insisted she had never been reckless with money, blaming financial advisors for years of mounting tax debt. But was the public willing to believe that? Her bankruptcy didn't just cost her money, it shattered the image of an elegant diva. Once revered as a symbol of grace, Warwick was now seen as a woman stripped of her wealth and dignity. The media was ruthless, with headlines screaming, "From music royalty to financial ruin, Dionne Warwick, a fall from grace, the legend is no more." The public no longer spoke solely of her voice. They now associated her name with financial failure. But Warwick refused to surrender. She continued performing, appearing on television, and striving to rebuild her reputation. Yet no matter how hard she tried, the shadow of bankruptcy lingered. Unlike some fallen stars, Warwick never lost her entire career. But she lost something even more valuable: her honor and the unwavering trust of her audience. A living legend, but not quite the same as before. Ellen DeGeneres was once the epitome of success, a beloved talk show host, a powerhouse producer, and a television icon. But in a shocking turn of events, she lost everything she had spent decades building. From her thriving career to the carefully cultivated public image, everything crumbled. After years of maintaining a warm and humorous persona, Ellen was hit with a wave of accusations from former employees, alleging that her workplace fostered a toxic environment filled with discrimination and misconduct. These revelations came from people who had worked closely with her, exposing a stark contrast between the Ellen DeGeneres show's cheerful facade and the reality behind the scenes. Once one of the most admired figures in entertainment, Ellen faced relentless criticism as the scandal erupted. Public perception of her collapsed. The accusations of unprofessional behavior made it impossible for her to defend the reputation she had spent years crafting. As the backlash grew, people turned away, and her career spiraled downward. The media and public were unforgiving. Headlines highlighted the glaring contrast between her on-screen persona and what happened off-camera. Longtime fans began to question, was Ellen's warmth and humor nothing more than a carefully constructed act? Though she issued public apologies and attempted to improve her show's work environment, the damage was done. Her career never fully recovered, and the loyal audience she once charmed had moved on. Ellen's downfall proved a harsh reality. Sometimes a single scandal is enough to erase a lifetime of success. Aaron Carter, one of the biggest names in the music industry in the late 1990s and early 2000s. But after a series of bad decisions, he lost everything, from his music career to his personal stability. Once a rising star with hits like I Want Candy and That's How I Beat Shaq, Aaron Carter became a global music sensation. But what he never anticipated was how quickly it would all come crashing down. Struggling with mental health issues, self-destructive tendencies, and a string of poor career choices, his downfall was inevitable. A toxic mix of addiction, mental health crises, and public disputes slowly pushed Aaron further from the spotlight. His chaotic personal life spiraled out of control as he fell into unhealthy relationships and destructive habits. Scandals tarnished the once bright image he had built. He battled substance abuse, faced financial struggles, and even had very public conflicts with his family, most notably with his older brother, Nick Carter. These issues took a severe toll on Aaron. His music career plummeted, contracts were canceled, performance invitations disappeared, and he became a subject of relentless public scrutiny. Fans who once adored him now mocked him, further pushing him into darkness. Aaron Carter was no longer seen as a talented young artist, but as a man who had completely lost himself. From a teenage idol to a tragic figure, his life fell apart as everything around him crumbled. Could he ever recover from these failures? Sadly, the answer came too late. In 2022, Aaron Carter passed away in solitude, never able to escape the haunting shadows of his past. I am Warhol. I am the most influential artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. But despite such bold declarations, in the end, he couldn't save himself. Kanye West once declared that no one could challenge him, and for a long time, that seemed true. But it was his own words that led to the downfall of the empire he spent over 2 decades building. Kanye didn't just lose money. He lost his image as a musical genius, a rare producer, and an exceptional entrepreneur. Once considered one of the greatest, he is now an outcast. A series of controversial statements regarding the Jewish community, slavery, and extreme ideologies turned Kanye into one of the most publicly condemned figures in recent years. His downfall wasn't accidental. Kanye had always been known for his brilliance and unpredictability, but never had he gone this far. In 2022, he sparked global outrage with anti-Semitic remarks, even tweeting, "I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." That statement alone caused Adidas, Balenciaga, Gap, and multiple other partners to cut ties with him within days. Kanye lost nearly $2 billion, and his Yeezy brand completely collapsed. But he didn't stop there. He continued making inflammatory comments, even praising Adolf Hitler, something entirely beyond the realm of acceptance. And so, from a music legend, he officially became a disgraced figure. Kanye's losses weren't just financial. He lost his reputation, his career, and some of the most important relationships in his life. His marriage to Kim Kardashian ended, he lost custody of his children, and his closest allies abandoned him. It wasn't just corporations turning their backs. Radio stations stopped playing his music, fashion events refused to invite him, and even his most loyal supporters could no longer defend his actions. Kanye West's image has been damaged so severely that redemption seems impossible. Can he ever reclaim his status? Only time will tell. But if one day you woke up and realized you no longer had control over your own life, what would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comments and share your opinions. Hit like if you resonate with stories like this, and don't forget to comment number 1 if you believe Kanye West can turn his life around. Britney Spears didn't just lose her freedom, she lost the very image she had built for over 2 decades. Once the ultimate pop icon, her name was instantly associated with global hits like Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again. But in a cruel twist of fate, just as her fame reached its peak, she spiraled into a vortex of bad decisions and relentless family control. In 2007, Britney shocked the world when she shaved her head in a hair salon, a moment that became a symbol of a superstar's downfall. But this wasn't just an impulsive act, it was the breaking point of immense pressure. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, losing custody of her children and being hounded by paparazzi, Britney became tabloid fodder, plastered with brutal headlines like, "Britney's gone crazy, Britney's lost it." But the greatest tragedy wasn't public humiliation or personal struggles. It was losing control over her own life. In 2008, her father, Jamie Spears, was granted full conservatorship, giving him absolute power over her finances and personal decisions. A multi-million-dollar superstar couldn't even buy herself a cup of coffee, choose who to love, or release music without permission. Britney Spears wasn't just stripped of dignity, she was imprisoned within her own existence. For over a decade, the world no longer saw her as a shining pop princess, but as a victim of exploitation, forced to perform, managed like a money-making machine for her family. She became the tragic symbol of industry control. In recent years, the Free Britney movement gained momentum, demanding justice for her. After 13 years under conservatorship, Britney finally regained her freedom in 2021. But the cost was devastating. Her youth, her dignity, her career, and perhaps her trust in those she once believed in. Britney Spears is the ultimate proof that sometimes, even without making the wrong choices, the wrong people around you can take everything away. Who still remembers Lindsay Lohan, the red-haired actress who captivated the world with Mean Girls, Freaky Friday, and The Parent Trap? Once a Hollywood darling adored by millions. But then everything fell apart. Not because of others, but because of her own mistakes. Lindsay Lohan's downfall wasn't a single moment. It was a years-long spiral of reckless decisions. At the height of her fame, she dove into a world of endless partying, substance abuse, and self-destruction. Hollywood has seen plenty of wild stars, but Lindsay's biggest flaw was her inability to control herself. Between 2007 and 2013, she was arrested more than 6 times for offenses ranging from DUI to illegal drug possession. Multiple stints in rehab, endless court appearances, and messy paparazzi photos dragged her reputation into the gutter. Directors lost faith in her, studios saw her as unreliable, and film offers dried up. The consequences were inevitable. Hollywood abandoned her. No longer seen as bankable, she was demoted from A-list to B-list, then C-list, before nearly vanishing from the industry altogether. Her personal life fared no better. Constantly entangled in scandals, hounded by paparazzi, Lindsay became more of a tabloid spectacle than a respected actress. Once admired, she became the subject of pity and ridicule. Still, Lindsay Lohan is trying to rebuild her life. She has overcome struggles, gotten married, and is attempting a comeback. But the weight of her past still lingers, and Hollywood is not a place that easily grants second chances. Her story is a painful lesson on how quickly everything can be lost through poor choices. When Hollywood turns its back on you, the road back is nearly impossible. Antoine Walker was once an exceptional basketball player, a rare talent who helped lead the Miami Heat to an NBA championship in 2006. Over his career, he earned more than $108 million, an amount most could only dream of. But within a few short years, all of it was gone, and his name became a cautionary tale of financial ruin in the sports world. Walker lived like a king. Lavish parties, buying mansions for friends, and throwing himself into real estate investments without any long-term plan. At one point, he owned over 30 cars, surrounded himself with a party entourage every night, and spent money as if tomorrow didn't exist. But his biggest downfall wasn't just reckless spending, it was foolish investments. He poured his fortune into real estate without truly understanding the market, and when the 2008 financial crisis hit, everything collapsed. He lost everything, buried under insurmountable debt. Losing money was one thing, but losing his reputation was even worse. Antoine Walker went from being a nationally admired NBA star to a symbol of wastefulness and poor judgment. The media ridiculed him. Sports shows cited him as the ultimate example of financial mismanagement among athletes. On top of that, Walker found himself entangled in lawsuits due to unpaid debts and even faced the possibility of jail time. The name that once made NBA history was now reduced to nothing more than scandalous headlines about his downfall. Unlike many others, Antoine Walker didn't completely give up. He accepted the brutal reality that he had lost everything, but chose to rebuild from the ground up. Walker became involved in financial education programs for young athletes, helping them avoid the same mistakes he made. While he would never regain his former NBA glory, at least he found a new path forward. But the price he paid for his lack of control and poor choices was staggering, a lesson no one wants to learn the hard way. You can't touch this. MC Hammer once declared that no one could touch the heights he had reached, and for a long time, that seemed true. But in the blink of an eye, he lost not just his money, but also his image, his reputation, and his career. MC Hammer didn't just squander over $70 million. More importantly, he lost his legendary status as an icon. From a shining star in hip-hop, he became a punchline, a cautionary tale for every artist about the dangers of unchecked ambition and poor financial management. His downfall wasn't caused by a shocking scandal, but by reckless spending. At the peak of his career, he lived like royalty, buying 17 luxury cars, 21 racehorses, hiring hundreds of employees, and even purchasing a $30 million mansion. But what stunned the public most was that he paid salaries to 200 close friends for unnecessary jobs, just to maintain his lavish image. As his fortune dwindled, MC Hammer refused to accept reality. He poured money into various failing business ventures, from fashion to tech, but none succeeded. By 1996, he officially declared bankruptcy, losing everything just a few years after reaching the top. His fall from grace didn't just cost him financially, it destroyed his reputation in the music industry. Once a trailblazing artist, he became a symbol of failure. A rapper who once topped the charts was now a bankrupt man, forced to take on different jobs, from preaching to consulting, just to make ends meet. Though MC Hammer is no longer celebrated as he once was, he has tried to rebuild his life. He turned to ministry, small business ventures, and a different path forward. But his place in music history was forever lost, a steep price to pay for extravagance and poor decisions. Marilyn Manson once declared, but now he is nothing more than a ghost, shunned by the world. Marilyn Manson lost everything: the image of a top-tier artist, the illustrious career he spent over 3 decades building, and most importantly, the public's respect. Once the rebellious icon of rock, he is now an outcast. In 2021, the world was shaken when Evan Rachel Wood, Manson's ex-girlfriend, accused him of years of physical and psychological abuse. Soon after, multiple women came forward with similar accusations, some even alleging he had tortured them with electric shocks. Manson denied everything, but his reputation was irreversibly destroyed. His record label dropped him, his management severed ties, and any film appearances involving him were canceled. From a once influential artist, Manson became a name no one dared to mention. Radio stations stopped playing his music. Artists who had worked with him condemned him, and no one wanted any association with him. His career seemed permanently over. The chances of Manson making a comeback are virtually non-existent. He has become a name the industry wants to erase, and his efforts to deny the accusations have proven futile. His public image has been obliterated, beyond redemption. Fantasia Barrino was once the luckiest girl in the world when she won American Idol in 2004. But within a few years, she lost everything: her career, her reputation, and even her will to live. Fantasia didn't just lose her stardom, she lost the public's respect after a series of personal scandals that made her a nationwide target of criticism. She became entangled in a scandalous affair with a married man, leading to a sensational lawsuit. Fantasia was labeled a homewrecker and became the subject of relentless public attacks. But the troubles didn't stop there. She also faced severe financial issues when her home was foreclosed due to unpaid debts. Her music career crumbled as the public refused to support an artist tainted by moral controversy. The backlash and public rejection pushed Fantasia into deep depression. In 2010, she attempted suicide by overdosing on sleeping pills, but was fortunately saved. Afterward, she admitted that the pressures of fame had driven her to the brink of despair. She tried to rebuild her career by releasing new albums and performing on Broadway, but the glory she once had was never regained. Fantasia Barrino remains a painful reminder of how quickly fame can vanish. Fame is a double-edged sword. It can elevate someone to dazzling heights, but it can also drag them into the abyss of scandal. These stories are not just about loss. They are harsh lessons about the price of mistakes, poor decisions, and irreversible controversies. When the spotlight fades, they don't just lose their careers. They lose the public's trust. In the entertainment world, a single reckless moment can erase decades of success. If you want to learn more about the painful stories and valuable lessons from stars who lost everything, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's explore more stories about the careers and lives of celebrities, and make sure you don't miss the next video. See you in the next one.